Inspector Gadget's field trip.
We're going on a visit.
Inspector Gadget's field trip.
Come on, let's go with him.
Inspector Gadget's field trip.
What's that, you ask? What is it?
Inspector Gadget's field trip.
Well, no one wants to miss it.
Inspector Gadget's field trip.
We're going on a visit.
Inspector Gadget's field trip.
Come on, let's go with him.
New places, new faces. Inspector Gadget's field trip.
Inspector Gadget's field trip.
Inspector Gadget here, practicing my roping and riding as I prepare for my next case. And that is to investigate who the dudes at the Dude Ranch really are. So saddle up, partners. It's time for our field trip to the home where the buffalo roam, which is probably a home full of dirt. Go, go, Gadget horse! I'm such a cowboy fan that I saddle up my Gadget-mobile and mosey on down to the Gene Autry Museum in Los Angeles, California. That's where the best of the West lives on. Look at the cow-proof vest on this cowboy. Oh, it's a conquistador, the distant relative of today's cowboy. During the 1500s, the Spanish conquistadors, or conquerors, left their homeland in search of gold. They traveled through South America, stopped in Mexico, made a sharp left turn, and rode slowly into the sunset of the American Southwest without stopping to fill up. The conquistadors brought America's first horses and herds of cattle all the way from Spain to America. Even the horses wore suits of armor. But their cows drew the line at metal suits. They wouldn't even wear metal shoes. The conquistadors passed on their roping, riding, and herding skills to their relatives in Mexico called vaqueros. In fact, vaca is Spanish for cow. So vaquero means cowboy. When the vaqueros crossed into U.S. territory, they became the first genuine U.S. cowboys. In the 1800s, equipped with his trusty horse and his trusty six-shooter revolver, the American cowboy galloped into American history. That's why history is full of hoof prints. The most famous of these cowboys was a roping, riding man named Buffalo Bill. He and his horse had a hair-growing contest. Bill won the hair contest. He made a wild, Wild West show out of the cowboy life. The only problem was the horses kept getting on stage and trampling the footlights. Buffalo Bill's mother did not name him Buffalo. His real name was William Cody, and they named a city after him. No, not Buffalo, New York, Cody, Wyoming. Who would want to live in a city named Bill? Probably billions. Little humor there. Everything you'd want to know about him and more is here at the Buffalo Bill Historical Society in Cody, Wyoming. It's hard to find. You have to look for the building with the long mustache and beard disguise. Buffalo Bill hunted buffalo, drove wagon trains, and was a brave Army scout. And those were just his day jobs. What Buffalo Bill is really famous for is his Wild Wild West show. It was the granddaddy of all rodeos, a rootin', tootin', shootin' show about the American West. Hundreds of vaqueros, cowboys, and Native Americans roped cattle, rode bucking broncos, and showed off their sharpshooting skills in this Wild West bonanza. Look at that. Some of the cowboys were Indians. Here's Buffalo Bill himself opening the show in a rare movie from 1902. Wowzers! Whoa! And slow down, nice horsey. Whoa! That's Buffalo Bill and Chief Irontail speaking in sign language. They had to keep secrets from the buffaloes. Buffalo Bill finally met his match when he met America's sharpest shootress. That's a sharpshooter in a dress. Annie Oakley was the best gunshot in the West, or anywhere else. She could shoot straight, backwards, over her shoulder, even looking into a mirror. Here she is at her last exhibition. Adios, Annie. Adios, Bill. And here's an Inspector Gadget field trip quiz. A buckaroo is A, a cowboy riding a kangaroo, B, early Western bubblegum, C, a young boy who helped the Spanish vaqueros round up the bucking horses. The answer is C. A buckaroo is what they call the boys who helped out with the bucking broncos. Now, back to my close-up. The cowboy legend lives on, up there on the silver screen. Go back to the Gene Autry Museum. Roy Rogers, the Lone Ranger, and the most famous singing cowboy, Gene Autry. I'd sing too, but it upsets the cows and they give sour milk. Look at those outfits. The sequins would probably blind your horse. No wonder those saddles were blazing. Wonder how I'd look in a sequin trench coat. According to my investigation, the genuine cowboy getup came from the Mexican vaqueros. That wide-brim hat was the American version of the vaquero's sombrero. It's useful for keeping the sun out of your eyes, fanning a campfire, and scooping water for the horses. See those heavy leather pants covering those cowboys' legs? They're called chaps. They protected their legs from, ouch, spiky thorns and horses with a biting problem. The saddle did double duty. First, as a rock-hard seat during a long day on the trail, and second, as a rock-hard pillow at night. Wonder what the horses used for pillows. I'd like to get myself a pair of these cowboy boots. They didn't wear these high heels for dancing. They were used to hold the silver spurs. They also helped the cowboys balance when roping cattle. Would you believe those spurs help move the horses along? How about slicing small pizzas? Cutting tiny little postage stamps? Cowboy movies are great, but they can't compare with the grit and excitement of a real cowboy on a working dude ranch in New Mexico. That's where they raise working dudes. They say, I'll have to work for my supper. Go, Gadget Lasso. These cowboys rise with the sun to start their day. They put on their rugged western gear, then they head 'em on up and move 'em out onto the wide open range for a cattle roundup. Wonder why they let the cows get out there in the first place. Some of these cows look like they're training for a New Mexico marathon. After a rough day in the saddle, it feels good to sit on a nice hard rock and sing some cowboy tunes. All that roping and riding works up an appetite. So it's time to head for the chuck wagon. Does that mean the cook's name is Chuck, or do they chuck the food into your plate? Actually, it's a portable kitchen that makes you feel at home on the range. After roping and riding in the saddle for weeks on end, a cowboy's idea of a good time is to rope and ride in the saddle for hours on end. It's called a rodeo. Go figure.
Look at that spurring style as he takes it down
A rodeo is actually a cowboy carnival that they take pretty seriously. Even the kids or buckaroos get in the act. They even have clowns. Wowzers! Look at that fucking bronco. That'll teach him to leave their saddle blanket on a cactus. The trick is to stay on for 8 seconds. I think the real trick is to never saddle up in the first place. Phew, I'm saddle sore just watching them. Well, buckaroos and buckarettes, as the sun sinks slowly in the west, it's time for the old inspector to say adios. That's Spanish for goodbye, or cowboy talk for my rear end is sore. Hope you had fun in the Wild West. I'm off to try my luck at bull riding. Go, Gadget shock absorbers. Until next time, go, Gadget field trip.
Beak.